for visiting PrestigeInspections.com. My name is Robert Lawrence. I'm the president of Prestige Home Inspections, a certified ASHI inspector for over 10 years, and a level 1 infrared thermographer. Welcome to the world of thermal imaging as it is applied to the building inspection industry. A wonderful technology that few home inspectors use to identify building defects that cannot often be seen with the human eye or in most cases the inspector's flashlight. What is thermal imaging? Using a special camera that measures infrared energy as it is absorbed by building materials. We identify thermal patterns and temperature differences in building materials to simply find defects. This includes but not limited to roof leaks, structural defects, insulation defects, water or moisture ingress from the exterior of the home and the interior of the home through the home's plumbing system and plumbing fixtures. And we also evaluate the home's electrical and mechanical systems, the distribution panel for the electric, the furnace, the air conditioning. Let's take a look at a few thermal images of inspections I've conducted to better explain what the technology is and how we use it as home inspectors. The first picture I want to show you is of a basement office. You can clearly see the floor joists above the finished ceiling here. The camera clearly outlines where the floor joists are. And I use this picture as a reference just to show you what we can do to identify structural defects during a thermal scan from the exterior of the home and sometimes from the interior of the home. All depends on thermal conditions and temperatures. Next picture we're going to show you here, we'll start with the JPEG file. Basement ceiling, acoustical ceiling tiles here, standard basement finished ceiling. Through the naked eye we can't see anything there. There does not appear to be a problem whatsoever. We use a thermal imaging scan here and look at this pattern here. This pattern clearly suggests a moisture problem above the ceiling. We back all of our thermal scans up with a moisture meter, and the moisture meter clearly identified a plumbing leak above this area. Further investigation showed a bathtub leak at the first floor master bedroom. Next picture I'll show you is how we use the camera for energy loss, insulation, ventilation. This JPEG picture you're about to see is a banquet hall that we were hired to scan. This is the actual banquet room, the carpeted surface here, and this door borders a unheated corridor off the kitchen. And we look at the thermal scan, we can see tremendous amounts of energy loss here. Air infiltration from the unheated hallway into the finished room. Waste of money. Okay, bad JPEG picture due to lighting conditions, but this is a basement ceiling. Right here you can see a canister light in the ceiling. Inspection with my eyes and a flashlight revealed no signs of any problems above the ceiling. We scan it with a thermal camera and we can clearly see patterns here of thermal anomalies. This is a question whether it was an insulation problem or a moisture problem. And like I said before, we backed this up with the moisture meter reading, and the moisture meter here and here showed high levels of moisture. Further evaluation, there were plumbing supply lines above here and shutoff valves that were leaking. And another basement picture here. I'll show you the JPEG first. Standard basement ceiling, finished drywall, no signs of any problem here. Scan it with the thermal camera. We see a clear thermal anomaly here, and then all these little blue dots here with the camera. Again, first floor master bedroom, bathroom leak. It wasn't the tub this time, it was the toilet. Here's the origin where the drip happens, is where it bounces off the ceiling materials and where you see these small dots. We can use the camera to identify electrical safety concerns. You can clearly see in the center of this picture we have an overheating fuse. This is a training video only. Okay. Same banquet hall. Here's a picture of the door. I mean, we can clearly see that there's no weather stripping underneath these doors. The second set of doors from the exterior of the building. But just to show you what the camera can identify, huge amounts of air infiltration here. Nice thermal gradient pattern here. Once again, waste of money. Let's talk a little bit about insulation. JPEG file you're looking at is a pole barn ceiling. It's an OSB ceiling. I did notice with my eyes just some abnormal findings here, some stains, some caulking here. Couldn't really see any condensation on the ceiling with my eyes. Scanned it with the camera. Thermal anomaly here. This suggests an insulation is missing at this location. Further evaluation from going up in the attic, we determined that. And actually, when we got on the ladder and looked at the ceiling, you could actually see small little dots of condensation here. Okay, new construction home. Cathedral ceiling starts here. Over here is the kitchen. This here is a audio speaker in the ceiling. Once again, from looking with my eyes, I see no issues here. Even from the attic space, you can't even see this area of the attic because it's a cathedral ceiling. Scanning with the camera, huge areas of air infiltration here at the wall-to-ceiling junction, and these large blue patterns that you see here suggest insulation is missing, disturbed, or reduced simply. Same new construction home. Let's look at the JPEG file. There we're going to talk about is right here. Looking at the walls and ceilings with my eyes, I see no problem. Nor can I see this area from the attic spaces above. Scan it with the thermal camera, air infiltration, and a missing piece or disturbed insulation here. Talk a little bit about basement moisture or water coming in from the outside of the home. Let's look at the JPEG file. You can clearly see here the foundation wall is damp, but just to show you how we use the camera for moisture ingress from the exterior of the home, the camera clearly picks it up through these thermal anomalies, and those are backed up with moisture meter readings. There's another picture of basement moisture. Let's look at the stain on the wall. Obviously it's damp. Scan it with the camera. You can see a little bit of pattern here, but the significant spot is going to be right here. Brand new home, theater room in the basement. You can see the theater chair here, step down to the lower level, and then another theater chair. Inspection with my eyes and flashlight here. No reason to suspect any problems whatsoever. Thermal scan. These hot spots you see right here is where I last stepped. Those are my foot patterns. This dark blue area here suggests air infiltration or a moisture problem. Inspection of this area with the moisture meter revealed elevated levels of moisture. Further evaluation behind the wall in the unfinished utility room clearly showed a foundation leak in this area. Talk a little bit about roof leaks. Dining room ceiling right here. Looks perfect to me with my eyes. Thermal imaging scan shows a thermal anomaly here. We did scan this with a moisture meter, got slightly elevated moisture readings, but the next picture I want to show you is of the attic space above this area. We can clearly see right here the dark blue spot. I actually crawled around this area of insulation, scanned that with the moisture meter. You could even tell with your eyes it was damp, but we want to back that up with a meter. And there was a roof leak there. Could not have seen that if I was walking through the center of the attic with my flashlight shining over to that area of the eave. Just simply never would have seen it. Nor do most home inspectors crawl into the eave area during a home inspection. Mechanical. We can scan any mechanical item in the house, from a dishwasher, garbage disposal, heating and cooling, a furnace, air conditioning system. We can identify overheating mechanical parts with the camera. There's nothing wrong in this picture. This is a normal operating induced draft fan on a high efficiency furnace. Plumbing. We can identify plumbing leaks in the home, whether it's under a fixture, whether plumbing supply lines are in the ceiling. We can scan any building material and identify moisture problems. This one's ironic though. I can tell from looking at the P-trap underneath the vanity sink and the stain on the bottom. We've obviously had a problem here in the past. I scanned it with the camera. This is after I ran cold water. I'm now running hot water. And this little pattern down here made me run my finger across this spot here. And there's actually a drip of water there. I never saw it with my eyes, but the camera picked it up. Okay, this picture here, not much you can tell from this JPEG picture, but this is an interior wall of a home. Scanned it with the moisture meter. You can clearly see the vertical studs in the wall here, and then this big red thermal anomaly. This is actually a heating and cooling duct that was disconnected, and basically heating the wall itself was causing a condensation issue, and the homeowners repaired that. Okay, what's important for everybody to understand is that a home inspection consists of a visual inspection of the home's readily accessible components. Simply put, not every defect can be noticed by a home inspector's eye or his flashlight. Thermal imaging inspections are not included with the general home inspection. It's considered an ancillary inspection. Most common question, what is the cost? We offer it in 3 categories. It can range from $150 to $300 per scan. Thank you for visiting our website. Good luck with your future home purchase. Thank you for choosing Prestige Home Inspections.